All right, these are some serious topics. Let me just get the housework out of the way. Please give this channel a chance. Support it through channel memberships and/or super chats if you can, and please try to give my other channels a chance. I am having some issues with the Kubrick channel, but hopefully I will get through that. All right. Well, I want to first be clear that the paperwork does seem legit. Um, but I wish when people post this kind of information, they make it frankly easier to go through because I really could not read a lot of this. However, getting to the point quickly, apparently there's this complaint against, and it's hilarious because they both have names that begin with a J, but I'm going to try to be respectful of Kenny's private information. Although, again, other forums you can be more loose, but I want to try to be careful here. So, this woman identified as J lodged a complaint, and the complaint is from 2023. So I'm a little bit unclear who this is. Is this a romantic partner, a girlfriend, etc., etc.? Don't quite know because it seems Kenny's with someone else at the moment. So I guess he hooked up with another woman, and this is a woman from another relationship, or someone he just got into some kind of altercation. And she alleges that he sent her a number of threatening calls. Okay, so one, this information does seem solid and legit, but again, I cannot attest that it is 100%, so please take this as speculation for now. Again, this is YouTube, we can do that. But let us assume this is true, and it is all true. Well, okay, at the basic level, this does put DOA in a position, right? Because, which I think is correct, he's been very critical of Aaron and the way Aaron has treated various people. And again, even though Aaron was never technically formally charged, we do have testimony and, again, evidence that it's fair to say several times he's been caught stalking. So, being consistent, if DOA think that's a problem with Aaron, he will have to say this is a problem with Kenny too. So, this is from 2023. I guess we could assume maybe that Kenny has cleaned up his act and is acting good, but then we do have video and audio data that no, he's still getting into arguments with his current romantic partner. Is it his wife? Don't know. And they've had scuffles back and forth, and it's been so violent and aggressive that we can hear them, right? They've had all these exchanges. Again, Kenny denies all this. He says he's being framed and that nothing is happening. It's just YouTube people creating a mess, or really, there's no mess. But this paperwork does seem real. It's from 2023. And Kenneth has also made fun of Aaron's and his various legal problems. So, yeah, it just seems like a very big, complete mess. But being serious, that is what DOA says should be a standard, right? That he does not like it if this happens. So, is he aware of this paperwork? I am not sure. I am not sure. Now, he does say he does not approve or like what Kenny's doing with some of his posts or some things he said over his live streams. He thinks that language is not good, and he does not approve of all the conduct that Kenny is doing. But he does consider Kenny a friend of his, so he doesn't want to abandon him. And there we are. So there's this clearly competing demands about what to do with Kenny. And Kenny, most recently, I just put out a video on this, has been, well, breaking down. It just seems he's lashing out, getting upset at his own subscribers in his own chat for challenging him, and he doesn't seem to have a good response. And there we are. So, is this charge legit? Again, who this J woman is, we don't know. She could be lying, he could be innocent, but taking this for granted that he is guilty, and this does seem to fit his current behavior, then just seems it is what it is. He's very violent and aggressive, and the best he can say for himself. And I didn't play the snippet from that little bit I gave you guys, but basically, he congratulated himself on not hurting the woman he was arguing with. He was actually praising himself for not getting physical with that woman. Well, I mean, the point, I guess, is that he didn't get physical, but it's like him congratulating himself for not being as violent as he could be is not really saying much. It's not saying you're much of a good person. So, yeah, this is a mess. This is a big mess. And listen, if tomorrow DOA pushes Kenny aside, right, Kenny's still going to be here. So it's not clear how to deal with this. I mean, I think at the most basic level, I don't know. He doesn't seem much of a protester. Insofar as you're going to protest with this person, I think it's just wise. It's just wise to know the disposition of where people are. And I don't want to bring Jacob Harkey into this at all. I just, right? Jacob is not connected to this. I'm just using him as an example. If I had to pick, not that I'm going to, but if I had to pick, hey, here's some signs, you want to do some protesting, would I be more comfortable around Jacob or more comfortable around Kenny? And by the way, Kenny has threatened me, so I don't appreciate that either. So one guy who threatens me and keeps doing threats to other people, again, probably these threats are not serious, but he just has a history of just getting into these violent tempers and just accusations and just threatening people all the time. Would I feel more comfortable with Jacob or with Kenny in a hypothetical situation? Well, the answer is obvious. I'm going to be more comfortable with Jacob. He just seems much more well behaved, seems much more cool, just is not going to do these kind of weird, violent outbursts all the time, in my opinion. So there we are. So there's just something here about being well informed. If you still want to work with Kenny, that is your choice. Just doesn't seem worth it. And again, I want to stress at this point, this is speculation, right? He does have a lot of enemies now. Fake information is a thing out there, so I want to be careful and not add to it. Because we have the situation with Poe. And again, I don't think we really know. It could be the information was fake. DOA just didn't like Poe and put it out there, and Poe got rid of his channel, so now we don't know. So I don't want to just put out fake propaganda if I don't have to. On the other hand, I think, to put it mildly, we don't have good boundary sets, to put it mildly. So there we are. If you want to work with this guy or interact with him, fine. But there is such a thing as being well informed. And again, I think it's always tricky to bring up past at all, criminal past or whatever. You got to be careful. But if you are going to fault Aaron for his, to put it mildly, very tricky past record, then it's fair, right, to do a comparison with Kenny and Aaron. And again, if DOA thinks it's a legit issue to bring that up with Aaron, well, I don't get it. This does seem like something legit. DOA himself should be critical of this behavior, right? I mean, that would just follow from the streams and the various videos he's done. So there we are. But then again, him and Lara have been going through the censorship Stalinist phase. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's all very tricky. But here I'm just trying to do what's the word? Um, informed reporting, right? So again, at this point, I would still treat this as speculation, but very well grounded speculation. And again, I'm being super, super cautious. I'm sure most people are like, it's confirmed. He's definitely 100% guilty. But again, I don't know. I don't know that for a fact, so I can't say that. So now the ball is in Kenny's court for him to clarify, deny, or push back and saying, no, 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 I was the victim. This complaint has no merit. But it does seem rock solid. And there we are. So we'll have to wait for Kenny to elaborate on this alarming piece of information.